Hello. I decided to put together a little introductory video so we can get us all on the same page before we start this Bible study journey together. Um, I really don't like the word Bible study because this is something new and different. It's not like a traditional Bible study that you would have in a church group or something like that. And it really kind of snowballed and really just started. I, for the last 3 years, have been pastoring a small church in downtown Nashville, and I stepped down from that position to pursue some new opportunities. And a pastor without a church isn't a very good thing. And also, what you should know too about pastors and people that primarily work in churches is if they relocate, mostly everybody they know is inside their church building because it's demanding and you're taking care of them and you give them all of your attention. And so when you step away from your church, it's like almost like getting a divorce. I've explained it as before because it's like you're leaving your family and your friends, and you got to separate and you got to find new people. And if you're like me and you're a people person and you're prone to depression, it's not a good situation to be in. So a friend of mine, Tamra, came to visit right as all this was happening, and she said, Lori, I have a new friend, was actually an old friend, that has been new to Christianity. And she said, she asked me to tell her some things about the Bible, but I was wondering because if she lives here near Nashville, if maybe you would do that with her. And of course, me having no connections or anything at the time was just excited to be able to have someone to go out to coffee with, and sure, I can talk about the Bible. That's easy, right? Well, things kind of progressed from there. As I said, I was in this confusing interim position in life, and I was really looking for jobs, things that I could do while I was pursuing ministry opportunities. And I was just, getting disappointed, feeling like I didn't fit in the real world in a lot of ways. And so I have this very dear friend, Mindy, who I met the first week I moved here to Franklin, Tennessee. And Mindy is originally from New Zealand. And she I posted I was new on the neighborhood website, and she said, "Hey, want to get coffee?" And we were friends from there. And I love my conversations with her because not only is she wasn't born and raised in the United States, so she has an interesting perspective. She also was raised in a family where the religion was Buddhism. And so she has such an interesting perspective on so many things. I just love talking to her. And we talk about, spiritual things and those kind of things. And I just love it. So Mindy, she's pretty in tune with what's going on, I think, with the spirit. And she invited me to go out with a group of women. She knew I was in a place where, you know, I didn't have any people, and I need people. I'm a people person. And so she invited me out with this group of women that she hangs out with. And we went to a comedy club downtown. It was amazing and it was fun. And this group of women, they are part of an organization that they call PWOW, the Progressive Women of Williamson County, which I live in Williamson County. And so had the best time with this group of wonderful women. But the whole time I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, um, if they knew like I was a church person, would they be friendly to me? Which, is ridiculous. But in this day and age where everything is so divided, and I'm like, would they even want me to be a part of their group if they knew that I was a Christian? And so these were all things that were going through my mind, which were ridiculous. I had the best conversations with women about faith and Jesus that night, and I came home and my husband said I got fixed because I was on the right path. Well, shortly thereafter, Mindy contacted me and said, you're doing that Bible thing with that other lady. I'd like to do that with you. And I said, oh, you would? And I never even thought to ask Mindy. Um, we talk about spiritual things, and I talk to her about my faith and why I believe the way I do. But, I didn't want to and change, come to my Bible study, my friend. And then if she doesn't really want to, then it's like awkward and I lose a friend, right? So, anyway, she said, not only that, I want to invite all of our women from PWOW to check it out, because she said, I like how you talk about things. You always a safe place to ask questions. She's like, you never judge. You're never like, those typical, stereotypical kind of like preachers, Christian, crazy people that are portrayed on TV. She's like, you're nothing like that, and I want these women to meet you. And I was like, I don't know if anybody else would want to do that. But it turns out that now it went from me helping one woman learn some stuff about the Bible to a group of 30 women. And I'm going to have 2 in-person groups here in the Nashville area. And I have one Zoom group, which is going to take place on Sunday evenings, 7:30 Central Time. And there's people from Michigan in that group. There's people from Tennessee in that group. And there's people from Colorado in that group. There's people from all the stages and places that I've lived over the course of my life. And it's just really cool. And I'm so very excited for it. But this is different. And I'm going to need your help with this, because there's going to be women in this group that have all different backgrounds. We're going to have some people that have been lifelong Christians. We're going to see some people in the groups that have been hurt by Christianity, have been hurt by churches, and are overcoming that and trying to just wrestle with what that means for their faith. There's going to be women who are not Christian Jesus believers, but they believe that there's a higher power and a spiritual force at work in this world. There will be women that don't believe in any of that at all. There'll be some women that are really true atheists that don't believe in that. And everybody is welcome here. There's going to be people in this group who have very right-wing political views and very left-wing political views. But guess what? We're not going to talk about that. And we're not going to talk about politics or those kind of issues, because guess what, people? I have friends that are Republicans and are Democrats, and I love them both. And it's amazing. You actually can get along and care and be friends with someone who has a different philosophy of life than you, has a different perspective, different political party, different opinion on anything. You actually can be friends, which you would not guess it in this world. And Facebook has a lot, and the media times that we live in, and even just, how fast and how small the world has become through technology has a big part to play in that, I believe. Now, you're on a Facebook group, even the PWOW women, their Facebook group is all women who think like them, which is fine. I was watching, I don't know if you guys watched the movie 1883. It's a series. It's on Paramount. It's with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. It's wonderful. You should watch it. It's very emotional. I've cried during that show. But anyway, they're traveling across the Oregon Trail in 1883 with all the things that come along with that. And they are going along with this group of immigrants, and there's a leader, and there's all these people, and there's family members. And what just stuck out as me is back then, you were basically stuck with who you were with for survival. So if you and someone in your family did not get along or see eye to eye, they still were with you and along with you for the ride. And you see that in this show. And you're also stuck with all the other people around you. They were from different countries, they spoke different languages, they had different ideals and values, and you were stuck with them. You couldn't just separate out and say, hey, I'm going to go be on a different group with all people that are like me. You couldn't. But our world today is different. We are able to do that. We segregate ourselves. And so this experiment, this Bible study, is really about breaking down those walls that separate us. And so we can have conversations about faith and spirituality that actually have healing power in the United States and healing power around the world. And so it's different, but we're going to do it. A traditional, and I've organized hundreds of Bible studies for church people, men, women, women's group. One point in time, that was my job to organize groups for Bible study purposes. And the purposes in those, all of the ones that I've arranged and led before have been people who are Christians at some stage in their Christian walk. They already are Christians. In the study, the purpose is to help them grow and learn more on their faith journey. Well, this Bible study I'm doing, that is not the goal or the purpose at all. So it's different in that respect, because instead of the idea of getting someone to convert to Christianity or someone to have the same opinions, none of that is going to be happening. What we're going to do is we're going to use the Bible to ask the question why people believe certain things they believe. Why do Christians believe this way? Why do some Christians believe this way? We're going to answer that why question. We're not going to argue if it's right or wrong. We're just going to answer that why. And so you can understand, because understanding is going to bring us together. And for you that have been lifelong Christians and you are that's not for me then. I've read my Bible lots of times, been in lots of Bible study. This is more for you now, I think, than any spiritual journey you can go on, because I am going through this process of destructing how I have lived in a church world bubble for most of my life. And now I have to interact with people who have different beliefs and ideas than I do. And it's not comfortable. And you don't always know what to say or do. So if you're a Christian who's happily growing in your faith, I challenge you to take this journey with us, because you're going to think about your faith in a different way. You're going to actually learn how to represent Jesus on the planet Earth, instead of just talking about what's right and wrong and standing, out in the world with your fists up ready to fight. So it's a different journey. It's going to be great. We are starting off with this book. Now, this book is called The Bible in 52 Weeks, a year-long Bible study for women. And it's by Dr. Kimberly Moore, Moore. And this is not a Bible. This is a plan. It's really an outline for getting through reading the Bible if you wanted to read the Bible in a year. So me and my friend are doing that. We're going to read this Bible in a year, and I'm going to do that personally. If you don't think you have the space for that in your life, that is okay. You are still in the right place. The way this is set up is it's going to give you Bible chapters to read for the week, and it breaks it down into days. And then there's questions, and the questions, if you're doing the book, I do want you to try to fill out, because the questions are going to help us have good discussions. That's what that's going to do. But every Monday, I'm going to put together a little video like this one. I'm going to intro what we're going to be learning that week, and I'm going to tell you what Bible chapters in that video. So if you don't have this book, you can just use Bible that you do have. And we'll talk more about the Bible and those things in my next little video that is going to be the video to get started off for week 1. So that's it. It's different. It's exciting to me. I can't wait to see what God does next with this. I can't wait to meet all my new friends and all my old friends together in this one, you know, place. And it's exciting. And who knows, you know, who knows what can be accomplished if we all together just try. We make the effort to just break down some of those barriers and learn to love people where they are.